This is the Deep Sleep Dream Canon. I don't remember most of my dreams in a detailed, story-oriented kind of way. I remember images, like a hand, or a hallway, sometimes like a very silly and very heroic piece of bread. The ones that I do remember seem to fall into these loose categories, though. I have the super boring dreams. Like in middle school, I dreamed every single day that I'd walk into my math class, I'd sit down and I'd take off my brown zebra print saddlebag, and I'd empty it of every single one of its contents. And then I would put everything back. That was it. That was the whole dream. And I would wake up and be terrified that secretly I was the most boring person to have ever existed. I have those dreams that are in 3D Technicolor. Like, I used to dream about this history of theater class I took when I was a freshman in college. The teacher had this long, drawling voice, and one night I dreamt that I stood up and flew out the window in the middle of one of his boring lectures. He saw this and he did not like this. He squinted his eyes and then he flew after me. We engaged in this epic mid-air battle of insane proportions, and me, using the superpowers that I guess I'd always possessed, was able to optically suss out prime target points all over his body and then battle him back into the classroom. He was then trapped in the classroom, and I was free to fly around outside. I have those dreams that are super real, like stress dreams about my rent or whether or not my cat has a tumor that the vet's never heard of before and will die an untimely death. And then I have those dreams that are like capital D dreams. Like this one time, I dreamt that I had sex with a weird hybrid of every single one of my exes. It was awful. The funny thing about dreams is that nobody knows why exactly we do dream. See, there are lots of theories though, and the main one has to do with memory processing. So the selective forgetting of things during the day and the way that we remember them in dreams helps us solidify old ideas and spark new ones. It's like a shower that you take every single night for your brain. See, I don't know why fighting my teacher comic book style helps me or helps my memory, but science seems to say it does, so we're gonna go with that. Other scientists theorize about desire though. They believed that the images that we saw in dreams directly represented something that we wanted in real life. And typically those things were sexual in nature. You know, Jung and Freud and all of those. But I think, minus the sexual overtones, that that's more the function of daydreaming. I can build entire worlds in my head when I daydream, and it happens when I'm at places I don't want to be. But I can take the option of escaping and going right up to my head where I can live entire moments free of where I am. That class with the long drawing teacher, I would daydream about the next week that I'd be off from school or my bed when I got home. Sometimes I dreamed that I got up, walked out the door, and built a whole new life for myself, away from all of the people that made me sad here. I got in a car accident a year ago and I couldn't walk for a while. I spent a lot of time staring at birds. And I would daydream about all of the places that they get to go and all the people that they get to see. I daydreamed that I was a beautiful bird, and even if both of my legs were broken in 100 places, I could still fly. My grandpa used to dream about dying. He never talked about his dreams, but he was somebody where you could feel his dreams. An eating disorder and a botched surgery had left him unable to walk since I was a little kid. Every year, he talked less and less and less. When I dream about that version of my grandpa, I see that version, the sleep apnea machine and the medals on the wall. I see somebody who was silent and stoic and never took the time to talk. But when my mom dreams about my grandpa, she sees the best version of him, the fighter pilot who married the love of his life and did everything that he could to raise a family. I never met that version. When my grandpa dreams about my mom, he dreams about a very young version of her. She's 18 and she's on her way to prom and she's a little bit stupid, but he loves her very, very, very much. When I dream about my mom, I also see a younger version of her. She's young and she's my mom, and she's the smartest person that I've ever met in my entire life. She's wearing a bright blue shirt, and I love her very much. When my mom dreams about me, for better or for worse, she dreams about all the people that I might be in my life, and how all of those people tie back to the baby who used to eat sticks of butter off the Thanksgiving table. I do dream about how fast things change, and how we can't control how all of those things change us. I don't know if people are going to dream about my mom by the time I'm gone, and I know that nobody will dream about my grandpa then. And even scariest of all, I don't know how people will dream about me, nor can I control how they dream about me. I guess that nightmares are a part of daydreams too. Or maybe that's just having anxiety. I did have this one reoccurring nightmare as a kid though. I dreamed that I was upstairs. I'm in my family's first house, and there's a function happening downstairs. My mom calls me downstairs from the room that she's in, and so I decide that it's time for me to go join the party. So I walk down and I see my dad's hand at the grill. He looks back at me and he makes a pleasant face, happy to see me. But then he makes another face that's not so pleasant this time. And suddenly, as the grill opens, I see rats pouring out of the grill and onto the floor and everywhere, consuming everything. And I look and suddenly I realize that I can't see my dad anywhere, so I get really scared because I don't know where my mom is. But I'm pretty sure she's in her room because she said her stomach hurt. So I run up there trying to see or hear her voice, and I see a figure lying in the bed. So I go over towards her to try and talk to her, but when I pull back the curtains, the only thing I see are more rats. And they're everywhere, and I can see their bodies moving and their tongues biting and their tails moving. And I open my mouth to scream, but instead all I can feel is something moving around in my throat. When I was a kid, I thought that every single one of my dreams were real. That brown zebra print saddlebag, yep, I threw that away. I thought that that would make me very interesting. I was really scared of rats because I was convinced they were going to eat my entire family. And when I had a beautiful dream, I would have a really, really beautiful day. My grandpa is dead now. He's only a dream. But so are so many things. The breakfast I ate this morning and the dust I weekly clean off my bookshelf. They're gone, reduced to a memory to be processed by a dream. The best dream that I've ever had was very simple and very beautiful. I dreamt that I walked up to a party. When I got there, everybody was really happy to see me. So I smiled. And that's when I woke up.